let's talk about matters on the pitch. Let's talk about the squad now. Players were called up. From the goalkeepers, we have Maduka Okoye, Daniel Akweyi, Francis Uzo. Defenders, that's three goalkeepers. Defenders, we have William Trus Ekong, Kenneth Omero, Leon Balogun, Shehu Abdullahi, Chidoze Awazim, Jamilu Collins.
Has anybody told you that you look like Chidoze Awazim? With the beards and everything.
And then nobody actually told me. It's Pokoli I keep on hearing, but that's...
You look like Pokoli too.
Alright, so defenders are Leon Balogun, Jamilu Collins, Ola Aino, the new call-up Calvin Ugelumba Basi, and Kevin Akpoguma, who has returned into the squad. He missed out due to COVID the last time out. So that's about 9 defenders. For midfielders, we have Frank Oyeka, Innocent Bonke, Alex Iwobi, Kelechi Iheanacho, Joe Aribo. Then for the forwards, Ahmed Musa, Moses Simon, Samuel Kalu, Paul Onuachu, Chidera Ejuke, and Victor Osimhen. Now, from this list, we've had few casualties. Etebo is out injured for 4 to 5 months. That's such a sad one for the midfielder. Watford confirmed he had a torn quad muscle. He will be missing for 4 to 5 months. Wilfred Ndidi also pulled out. He might be out for 4 to 5 weeks as well. Brendan Rodgers came out to say that after their 2-2 draw against Crystal Palace that they hope to see, but he mentioned 4 to 5 weeks out. And who else pulled out from that list? So I think Alex Iwobi as well pulled out injured, but we don't know the extent of his injuries at the moment. Now let's talk. We're talking about squad balance. We always have few midfielders in our squad. It seems to lack a creative player in that squad. What do you make of the whole squad balance of the Super Eagles? We always see that less midfielders, a lot of defenders, including fullbacks as well, but about 9 to 10 defenders, just few midfielders and forwards. What do you make of the squad balance going forward for the Super Eagles national team?
I think we in this recent era of the national team, we've been cursed at the midfield side of town, but it's also been like that since forever. When we had Olusegun Okocha, we only had some few fringe players in the midfield. Okay, so we have wide men playing. If you look at this squad, it's also similar to what we've always had. We've not really had... When Okocha was playing midfield 10 in the Super Eagles, there was no challenger for his position. When Olisa was playing midfield 4, there was nobody competing for his position. If they don't play, we struggle. We now look for utility players. That's how people like Gabalawa came into the 4. People like Mocho Adepoju was between a number 8 and a number 10, not really the creative number 10 that you seek for. When Mikel Obi showed up to, it was first a battle between Mikel Obi and Christian Obodo, and Christian Obodo easily petered out, and then it became Mikel Obi standard. And, so it has always been. And if you also look at, apart from Manchester City and maybe Man United, if you look at almost every other team in the world at club level, it's the same thing. Like 10 defenders, 4 midfielders. 8 defenders, 4 midfielders. So it's the same thing. Midfielders are very, very scarce to get. Creative players are scarce to get. So you spend big dollars to get them. The Nigerian case is we have some players who can play in midfield who have not committed to play for Nigeria. Ejeria is one of them. Iberichi
Easy.
Iberichi Easy, Crystal Palace guy is another one.
Michael Olise
is another one. And then, all this talk of Eze Olise that wants to play for Algeria.
Yeah.
It's always making me laugh because he doesn't know the mistake he's going to make now. He doesn't know the mistake.
They were talking that his agent was the one trying to push him towards the Algerian side.
That's the dumbest agent in the world. Like, if you think that's going to work. Because, listen, this subliminal racism in the northern part of Africa is not something he wants to deal with because he has to deal with speaking the language, he has to deal with understanding the people. There's a whole lot, but I don't even want to go into that one because it's not a conversation that I like to get involved in. I think it's foolishness on his part to look at the Nigerian team and choose Algeria. Yes, Algeria are the defending champions of the Nations Cup, but how many times you have Algeria winning the Nations Cup? That's one. Another thing is Algeria, does not offer you what Nigeria is offering you. That's their own. Any player who choose not to play for Nigeria is their business. Let's deal with the guys who are available for us. It is sad thing that going to the Nations Cup in January. Nations Cup starts on the 9th of January, right? Yeah. And it's looking like Etebo will miss the Nations Cup.
Yeah, likely.
It's looking like
he might miss it.
Because by the time he comes back, he might not be ready. And it will be a very big risk for Ganacho to pick him. And that's sad for me. From the Nations Cup, from the Olympics in 2016, Akanaka Etebo has been a player who gives his all. And those kind of players, you want to have them in your major competition. It was at the last World Cup. It was at the last Nations Cup. Came in as sub in the first game and played all the way to the finals. So you want to have him around. But injury is part of football. If that happens. But if you don't have Etebo and you don't have Wilfred Ndidi, it's really a big problem. I'm going to see how the team is going to fare right now. Ghana has made Super Eagles a difficult team to beat in qualifiers. So I still think that one way or the other, it will find a way to win, even if it means the opposition scoring against themselves, like we saw in Cape Verde. That just might happen. Nigeria should not be looking for beautiful, titillizing, Kosioji kind of football, but they should just look out for the fact that this man wants to grind and win games. Okay, when that is done, we'll see how the Nations Cup turned out on its own. I asked him that question the other day about certain things about his team, and we always battle about the creative number 10. Truth is, one of the things that worked very well for Clement Vesterhoff and also Bonfrejo was the fact that he didn't have to rely on the number 10. Under Vesterhoff, our number 10 was the one of the worst. Even Okocha, the period that Okocha played for him, where Okocha was not really at his best until he got to 2000. Between 94, where he made his debut, till somewhere in 98, Okocha was just fooling around. That's the word I can use. Okocha was basically fooling around, was entertaining himself, introducing himself to the world, running the circus show. It was a younger player. But from the year 2000 till he retired around 2006, if I'm not mistaken, that was the very, very best of JJ Okocha that we saw, because he was now scoring more goals, he was creating, it was dribbling forward. I think Sam Allardyce had something to do with that, but it was dribbling forward other than running around the circle and not letting people free. Like I said, between 94, where Olise made his debut in 93, same for Okocha. Between that time till Olise retired in 2002, Olise had more assists, and he's a defensive player. More assists than Okocha, who is blessed and awfully talented and can dribble anybody, but doesn't pass the ball like that. So when you look at this team, you can say that this is going to be like his biggest challenge, because defensive-wise, it's got cover on that way. He's also had like the youngest goalkeepers in the history of Nigeria, like the players without long caps compared to other coaches who've had times to coach the team. But he's also one of the coaches who's been privileged to stay longer. He's past 5 years now, stay longer than any other coach in the team. So he should be able to psych his players up, get results for the matches. Forward, my problem with the Nigerian team, and this is based on the players. Players like Moses Simon, players like Samuel Chukwueze, Chidera Ejuke is doing well. I've not learned the act. I don't know how they play their game, but I don't know if these players actually go back and watch their clips. Because if you watch your clips, that's what we do growing up. You go back and watch or listen to critics about your game. These players don't do that. If you try to chat them up about what they're not doing well about their game, they block you. They think that you are their enemies. You can't be singing praises of some small players that are really not stars. So the white players in the Nigerian national team, excuse me, have not mastered the act of precision passing, accurate crosses, and knowing where to put the ball. They just balloon the ball. Our white players are doing clearance instead of crossing. Emmanuel Amunike and Finidi George and Tijani Babangida used to cross the ball. Elastic Elao used to cross the ball. These current players, and it's the reason why you think that the midfield is not creative. If you go back to the old Eagles, the white players were crossing well, and their crosses were causing problems for the opposition and also opening doors for the striking players. But today, we have white players who don't know the difference between playing to the gallery, dribbling out of position, and putting yourself in difficult position where your crosses are no longer dangerous to the opposition or putting the right crosses in. If those players are putting their crosses in, because if you look at the way this team plays, we always play to the wide side. And that's why Algeria were able to beat us when we played them in the Nations Cup. Algeria shut down the wing, and then the midfield lacked that creativity to open the doors for the rest of the team. And that was the problem. So if the white men tell themselves that we need to be putting on the right crosses and play the ball the way it should be played, we will get the right result. I just hope that Ghana is able to fix that. When I asked him that question, the last interview we had, he said the way they come to camp and play matches right now would not afford him the opportunity to do that. They come to camp on Monday. Training starts on Tuesday. A game is going to be played on Thursday. So you practically have 1.5 days of training to train before match day. Once you do that, but when you have a time to settle in a camp, you'll be able to do some correction. Let's hope that happens.
Now, talking about white men, it just I struggle to understand it at times. Moses Simon is the assist. Is topping the assist charts in the French League One with 5 assists. He's also on corner kick duties as well for Nantes. So you were talking about crossing earlier on, but when it comes to the Super Eagles, he doesn't put such kind of crosses. He doesn't play the way he plays for his. I mean, he's won back-to-back player of the month for Nantes in the French Ligue 1. So, when you were talking about wide men, Moses Simon just, came to my head.
The question I'm going to ask you on that is, how many games has he played in France?
I mean, he's played most of their games, and
the thing is, when you play for the national team, you play maybe just 2 games in 2, 3, 4 months. So sometimes there's no consistency to that. When you train with somebody, and that's what Ro also said, when you have that time to train with people and put them into a condition, this is how you should play. Because in club side, a coach tells you, this is what I need you to do. Thierry Henry was granting an interview some time ago, and he said when he was in Barcelona, played the game, he scored 2 goals, and at halftime, Pep Guardiola yanked him off. And after the game, he went to Pep and was like, Coach, I was on. This was like my day.
You removed me.
He said, you're not playing to my instruction. This is what I ask you to do. If you keep playing like this, then it means I'm not coaching anymore. And then if there's something goes wrong, I'll not be able to fix it because I've lost the team. I need you to understand that we have a system that will play here and you have to play to the system. That happens in clubs. But at national team, most times that doesn't happen. Have you ever wondered how Mo Salah will score every single day for Liverpool? Does he do that for Egypt regularly? So you look at that. Look at Lewandowski. Every single game is like he's banging 2 goals every game for Bayern Munich. Does he do that for Poland? Not everybody does that on a regular. Look at the qualifiers. The same Italian players, Lorenzo Insigne and the rest of them that were on fire during the Euros, went 4 games in the qualifiers after the Euros without even winning a game. So this happens with national team because sometimes you really need certain concentration, certain type of training to be able to condition the minds of players. And then look at runs. Okay, Lukaku went to Inter Milan, was scoring goals like goals were going out of fashion. Lukaku right now is a static palm tree striker at Chelsea. Only scoring goals, yes, only scoring goals after bullying people. But at Inter Milan, obviously, there was a training section designed to work around him. Even at Chelsea, where you expect, this is a club side where he should be able to do that. But I don't think he got the proper precision, so it's affecting him. The same thing happened with national team. Simon worked with his players. He know their runs. With his eyes closed, he could predict their position. He doesn't have that understanding with the national team players, yes, where you are rotating players are not the same players all the time. With time, they will form that understanding, and then it will go.
You are listening to Elegbete TV Radio.